Alright, so just 1 minute. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought I didn't get. Yeah. There's a fly in my room, and I'm in the middle of using my racket on him. Yeah, just want to make sure say him not moving, you know. Me not accept the challenge, you know. Nah, accept the challenge. Lord, do. I don't want the remote here feel me. Looks like it is. It's not good. Come on. Obviously, see, this is why you have to buy a name brand. What is this? Kendall? Now, what kind of remote name Kendall? You tell me, you know. You don't buy a remote named Kendall? No, sir. I wouldn't do it. I most certainly would not. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to do this. That's what I want to do. Right? Now mind you, there are two ways to look at it. There's a ax squared when it's positive on this side, and then there's a ax squared when it's negative over there, right? So and it's really funny because I can complete the square for them as well as I can do the factorizing for each of them. If you can factorize it, you can complete the square, right? So I guess we can do one of each, right? Can do one of each. So let's get rid of that and try this one up here and then this one here. So let me write it back. Let me write it back. Now mind you, obviously it have an equal 0. Right? All of these types of questions, I mean, this is the equation, that's an expression. So if it don't have an equal sign, it's an expression, but if there's an equal sign, it's an equation, right? So you can add that there for the fun of it, because chances are if you're going to be completing the square, it's going to be equal to 0, right? So there are some things that we want to put together, so we're going to do this, and I hope I have enough space. I hope I do. Now we're going to have make this color different. If we have a positive blank squared, we have to have a negative blank squared. Right? Then if this is being multiplied by 30, right, you go factor out the 30 out of this. Then if you multiply this by 30, you have to multiply this by the same 30. Right? So if you set it up like this first, then it should be easier to do, right? Because then you're going to be dividing this 30x squared by this 30 out here. And if you do that, quite literally, it leaves you with what? Let me just make sure of that. Yeah, it just leaves you with that. So that x squared is going to go right here. Now, so that we know exactly what must go here. Sometimes the sign that goes here is dependent on what is in front of this. Because if we now replace this with if we replace this with that, we realize that there's no reducing that, you know. So this going to have to stay as minus 59x over 30. Right? So it's going to have to stay. This will have to remain as minus 59x over 30. And it look kind of cramped, so I apologize. Right? Now, typically what happens is you take the denominator and add it to itself, and it becomes the denominator in here. So 30 plus 30 is 60. So we're going to have 60 here, and this numerator doesn't change. So we'll have 59 over 60. What we have here will also go over here. Right? Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's just there for reference, yeah? So in other words, we divided this 30x squared by this 30 to get this. We divided the minus 59x by the 30 to get that. Then we take the denominator, add it to itself, and put that over there. Right? So we have that. Now, here's something interesting about this side. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. So, imagine this. Technically what you have is 59 over 60 times 59 over 60, and then you're multiplying all of that by 30 on the outside there. Alright? That is literally what is going on. Yeah, sorry, I got something I take up off of the ground. Oh no. Yeah, I never want that to happen. Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah. So that is what's happening right here. Yeah. Now, there's another way to look at 60. You can look at 60 as 2 times 30, and if that's 2 times 30, this will be 2 times 30 as well. Yeah? So, what happens now is that you can cancel out this 30 with one of the 30s down here. So you can do this. Right? So 30 over 30 is going to be 1. So that means that every time you have a situation where this is squared and you're multiplying this by the result of that, the denominator is always this number multiplied by 2. Right? So in other words, if we brought this back to just being, if we just took it back to what it was, then when the 30s cancel, what would happen is that this, you square up top and you add this number to itself. If you can remember that, then you can easily solve this part right here. Yeah? So, let me just do. I was going to. Okay. There was something I was going to do a while ago. I was going to multiply 59 by 59 the normal way. But there's another way you can do it. Alright? But anyway, so this 60 times 2 is 120. So therefore, you don't have to guess. The denominator is going to be 120. Right? So, both of them have the same denominator. Right? So you're going to have that. Now, let me see if this... Okay, let me put it in a different color so that it's not confusing the lot. Let me not confuse myself and everyone else. So we have 60 minus 1 times 60 minus 1. No. This is going to be 3,600. I would think 6 times 6, 36. 100 times that is that. Then you're going to have minus, call it minus 120, because you're going to get minus 60, minus 60. And then you're going to add a positive 1. Alright? So that is what you're going to get out of this. You multiply the 60 by this, 60 by that, then 1 times this, or rather the minus 1 times 60, and the minus 1 times that. Yeah? I mean, I'm just doing this so that I can get the square of 59 times 59. Yeah? So if I take 120 from that, I'm left with 3,480. If I add 1 to that, I get 3,481. Right? Yeah. So I'm making a guess that that's what it is. Right? Well, let's multiply it normally and see. Let's multiply it normally and see. Right? So really and truly, what you have is the square of 59 divided by this denominator added to itself. Right? Well, let's see if we actually get back this when I do that. So 59 times 59. Let me do it the normal way. So we have our 81. 45 plus 8 is 53. Alright. 45. And then you have 29. Yeah, 25 plus 4 is 29, yeah. Believe it or not, it come out exactly the same. 1, 8, 4. Yup. Yeah. Oh. Alright, hold on. You probably couldn't see that. The light was in the way. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, unless I wanted to do that. Yeah? Yeah. So, that means I get it right. So, that means we can change that up there to 3,481, yeah? So therefore this is, whoops, why look so? Yeah. So when we're done with what is happening over there, we're left with this number behind the minus sign. So let me actually put it there officially now. So therefore this will be plus 28 minus 34 81 over 120. Alright? Now, you square root this, you get x. You square root this, you get 59 over 60. So we don't have to second guess this part. Right? Now here's the funny story about this is that if you were to expand this, you would get this up here. So all we did was factorize this to get that right there. So if I wanted to expand this, it would have looked like x squared minus 59 over 60x minus 59 over 60x plus this here, all of it being squared. And when we put that in the red again, so we see the familiarity. So I have that. Alright. Now look at what is going on in the middle right here. So if we take a closer look, we have what? 60 and the 60. Obviously, when it's fractions, the denominator is the same. But when we add 59 plus 59, what we get? We get 118. So we would group like terms right here, yeah? So we would end up with minus 118x over 60. Alright, so that's what would happen. So therefore this would become (118x over 60). Now, this probably look unrecognizable compared to this right here. But if we look closely, we realize it's the same thing. X squared, x squared. 59 over 60 squared is right here. But this don't look much like this. But hold on. If you multiply this by 2 and this by 2, you end up with this. So it stands to reason that if you divide this and this by 2, it brings you back to that. That is why every time you get something like this, you can always focus on this, put it down, focus on this, put it down, and it is that squared. Now funny, if you had a plus plus, then obviously a plus goes there. But you have a minus plus, the minus goes there. Right? So you don't have to get confused. Once there is a plus go there. A minus go there. Because when you expand something minus something squared, you always end up with x squared minus something x plus that. So it's always going to look like a minus plus when you have two minuses. But when it's two pluses, then everything easy. Because we know that the minus sign is the trickiest one, right? So I kind of wanted to explain how we went from this to this. Because technically, once you expand this and then you reduce this, you end up with this up here anyway. Right? You divide. So let me write it. Divide this by 2. And that by 2. Yeah? And you get this. 118 divided by 2, 59. 60 divided by 2, 30. So, yeah. So, hopefully, hopefully, instead of thinking about it, it become more natural. So in other words, every time we get here, focus on the left, put it down. Focus on the right, put it down. And whatever sign is here, put it down. Yeah. That way you don't have to overthink it. Now, what we're going to do with this 28 right here, we're going to turn it into a fraction, right? That means we have to go multiply 120 by 28 and then put that over 120. Alright? So that we have to do. Okay. Yeah, 4 times 7, that gives you 28. 4 times 120 is 480. So you can multiply 480 by 7. Right? You can really do that. 480 times 7. 56. Hold on there. 28 plus 5, okay. Right. Yeah, okay. So we have 3360. We put that over 120. So therefore we have 3003. Okay. Well, let me do it again. Just to be on the safe side. Just to be on the safe side, let me do it again. Alright, so we have 960 right here. And then we have okay. Yeah, just want it to be on the safe side. Alright. So we have 3,360. Alright, this obviously don't change. Alright, this part don't change, not yet. Alright, now I've been lazy. I really should have taken a picture of these, but you know what? Well, better late than never. So let me do that, Alright. Really? I don't have time for that right now. Okay. Yeah, sometimes this alright. I'll go check that to see if that even make any sense. Okay. Not terrible, not great. Oh, that's why. I probably should have used the selfie mode instead. That way I'm not stress out myself with this pointing at that angle nonsense. So I'm gonna try to do it the other way. Alright. Let's see if that made any more sense. Yeah. Alright. So the good thing about subtracting is that it don't matter whether the smaller number is above or the smaller number is below. You're going to get the same answer, but the sign will either be negative or positive. So because this number is smaller than this, it will come out negative. Right? So let me see something now. If let me do my subtraction a little bit off screen. Okay. So we have, oh, really? That's actually okay. All right. That doesn't happen all the time. That you can clearly see what the numerator is. All right, cool. So when we subtract this from that, we get 121 over 120, which basically means that we're going to have a negative sign in front, right? So this is going to be a negative sign. So, $121 over 120, there you go. Now, obviously if you add 121 over 120 on the left and on the right, basically the equal sign just go move right here and the zero are going to disappear. Right, so we're not even have to overthink it. All we have to do is do this. Put the equal sign here and just rub out that, and there you go. Right, if you understand the step, then you can just do that next. Right, once you understand the step, you can do that next. So let me try and get this again. Now the light is killing me actually. Oh. Okay, fine. So I'm gonna do this. Yeah. Now we are going to multiply this side by 1 over 30. Even though that looks absolutely atrocious. Right? Let me see if I can move. Wait there. Move it right. There we go. That way we can actually sit up out there. Alright. Then if we multiply this by 1 over 30, we have to do the same thing over here. Yeah? So, alright. You see me going quiet, I'm probably trying to take the picture. Yeah. Alright. So, the funniest thing about this is that if you were to square this number, you get 3,600, right? Now, if this is A, and this is 2A, this is 4A. If you square 2A, you get 4A squared. But if you have A times 4A, you get 4A squared same way. Which means that the result of this times this has to be 3,600. So in other words, this times this have to give you the square of that number. It has to. So in other words, our denominator have to come out to be 3,600. Right? So 30 over 30, that are going to cancel. Right? Therefore, 1 times that, you don't put nothing in front of the bracket here again. Right? And then now this will now become 3,600 right here. So therefore, we can get rid of that now. Can get rid of that. So now it looks a little bit more manageable now, right? Just a little bit. Little bit more manageable. Because once you get to this part, we're nearly done. Right? Once you reach here, so you're nearly done with this. So let me see now. Alright. So long story short, when you reach here now, you just have to square root square root the left and square root the right. And there is always a plus or minus sign implied in front of this. Yeah? The square root 121, you get 11. Square root 3600, you get 60. So you're going to have plus or minus 11 over 60. Yeah? So that means this is going to become x minus 59 over 60. And then this will be plus or minus 11 over 60. Alright, so on. Alright. So, all we do, we add this to the left and add this to the right. So therefore, when we add 59 over 60 to this and to this, it becomes just a plus sign over here. Even though, boy, yeah, boy, the struggle is real. There you go. Here. You see, why is that here? Why is that even here? Yeah. Anyway, so you're going to get plus 59 over 60. Well, I have a teacher, sister who teach physics, you know. So, in all fairness, like, I mean, I know the equations and I understand it, but you know, I could have my sister deal with that, you know. Cause is it true? I never been a teach physics for years, you know. I think I've another bridging that can match up the physics thing them for you guys. So really and truly, if you would like that, well, so the other page I have is called We Still A Learn. I will have my people them that teach physics, I will have them do those presentations on that page. So I may not be the one doing it, but you know, I will arrange to look about that for you, yeah? Because it's not like I don't have those people, you know, whom I work with like that. So I'm going to remember. So momentum in physics. It's listen. I did it in school, but I never teach it. You know, one thing that I do very well when it comes to physics though is changing the subject of the formula. Because once you can change the subject of the formula, there's no question you can get that you won't be able to deal with. Right? Because all of the v squared equal u squared plus 2as and the t equal 2 pi times the square root of L over G and all of the madness there. So, yeah. And it's funny because they always ask you to change the subject of the formula so that you can, you know, find your different, yeah. And I was actually at one of my sister in them like physics classes, and I have to take a picture of the board itself so I could remember that I could remember all the equations. I don't remember all of them. but I do understand how to navigate them, yeah? Oh, hold on there. I forgot. Let me write this. Because this is over here now, I have to, okay. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of that. Because I don't want to confuse myself in the process, yeah? So we already know what happened there. We already know. So what really happened here now is that I add the 59 over 60 over here. So I added it here, so it cancels, leaving you with that. Yeah. So, yeah, once you get to that, you're pretty much close to your answer. 59 plus 11 is 70, so you're going to get 7 over 6. And then 59 minus 11, that's 48. So you have two sides. So it's either you get, so let me write that now. So you either going to get so 48 over 60 is basically 4 over 5, right? 12 times 4 over 12 times 5, cancel the 12 them. So one part is 4 over 5, and then the other part is what, 59 plus 11, which is 70 over 60. So this part would be, let me just make sure I did this properly. 59 plus and 59 minus. Okay, they're both going to be positives. Okay. Yeah, they're both going to come out positive. Right. So therefore, this is 7 over 6. Yeah. But yes, let me, hold on there. 1 minute for, oh, it's Maya. Okay, yes. Yeah, I'm going to remember the request, and I'm going to make sure that. So why did this get so bright all of a sudden? Yeah, I want this too. Okay. See if I have that. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so the right thing to do. So yeah. Alright, good. So we pretty much wrap up this. Right? So we basically done this one. Right? So we done that one. So now we can do this one, you know. Now when it's a minus sign, it gets a little trickier, because that's how these things work, right? Sometimes them give you the positive, and you do them, and you say, yeah man, I'm confident so I can do anything, and you can take on the world. And then them give you this, and your brain just kind of shell. So this is what you do. Whenever you get something like this, you have to go flip it round, right? So this will be minus 14x squared. This remains minus 55x. And because there's no sign in front of this, it is a plus 36. Obviously, I put the 0 there for the sake of the semantics, yeah? So yeah, that's what you would have to do when you get something like this. You'd have to put it round, right? So that we can complete the square and them things here. Now, notice this get interesting now, because now you have a minus sign in front of this. So the question is, what you're going to do? Well, what you're going to have to do is, and boy, this will get fancy. So therefore, it will be a minus 14 that gets put out here. Right? You have to have a minus 14 there. Now again, I'm going to put my little plus blank squared and my minus blank squared, right? So let me put my little line there so. Line there so. And then, if this is being multiplied by minus 14, I also have to multiply this by minus 14. Now, to make your life a little simpler, the minus times this minus, that go end up come out positive anyway. So just to make your life a lot simpler, this minus times this minus, it will cancel. So that part will almost take care of itself, yeah? Negative times the negative, but we don't have to do that yet, right? Anyhow, this divided by this, minus 14 over minus 14 is 1 times x squared. This is just x squared, right? Minus 55x divided by minus 14. Look at what happened here. So now, the negative them cancel. So now it's a positive 55x over 14. Right? So look at that. So you see how different it is? When it was positive, this was negative. But the reason for that is because we divided minus 14x squared by minus 14. Both of them being a minus, this come out positive. Yeah? Same thing, both of them being a minus, this come out positive as well. Right? Of course, the numerator don't change. This is going to be 55 same way. 14 plus 14, that's 28. What is in here goes in here. So you're going to have that. Now I'm going to show you a trick that one of my students end up showing me. This is why I have a page called We Still A Learn, because clearly me still a learn, right? Now watch this joke. Imagine this. Imagine you have 15 times 15 or 35 times 35 or 55 times 55. Now these are numbers that are ending with 5, right? So I'm going to show you the joke what a student teach me. This end is 5 times 5, right? So all of these will end with 25. Cool? So all of these will end with 25. So if you focus on this portion here, that part is always true. Now watch the other joke now. I add a 1 to this number, I get 2. 1 times 2 is 2. I add a 1 to this number, that is 4. 4 times 3, give me 12. I add a 1 to this number, that is 6. 6 times 5. Now tell me now, if you don't go in your calculator and say when you multiply 15 by 15 you get this, 35 by 35 you get this, 55 by 55 you get that. Yeah, I want my student them show me that. Yeah? So therefore, me seeing this 55 up here, I already figure it out. See there, I have a 15 here, my 35 here, here's my 55. I know that is 3025. I don't have to guess. I know that the numerator is going to be that. Yeah? So I know. Right? So okay, hold on then. I'll try to take this picture without interrupting the live, eh? And we'll see if I have that. Why that look so? That look awful. Jesus. Nah man. Watch out. So my cars. Yeah. Apologies. Alright. Sorry about that. Yeah. I'm here trying to get this thing. See, fine. Let me not hide it. See there? There we go. There, right? That's what I get for trying to be discreet. I try to be discreet and knock over the whole thing. The whole thing me knock over. Alright, what am I do now? Yeah. For me, I try to be discreet. Anyway, so yeah, what am I do now? So I'm gonna get rid of that. Get rid of that. And then of course, make your life easy. That's the plus sign, that's the plus sign. So don't worry about that. Once both of them are negative and they're multiplying, it becomes positive now. So you worry not about that. Yeah? And of course, as you know, what really happens is the result is 55 squared, which we know to be 3025. And this, just add it to itself. 28 plus 28, that's 56. Yeah? It has to be. It just has to be. We know that's what we're going to get. So therefore, the real fraction at the end of it is going to be 3025 over 56. Yeah? It have to come out to be that. Because so 28 times 28, and let's say you put 14 down here, so well, you end up with 2 times 14, 28 times 2. Yeah? So, and if this was up here and that was down here, then the denominator becomes 56. So even if we flip it around, so if we say 14 over 28 times 2 times 14, yeah, then it explains that. And then of course 55 squared is that. So we're done with that. Alright? That part is done. Now we just have to multiply 36 by 56. But we never find a trick for that yet, so alright? 36 times 56. I mean, the only other thing we could really do is use prime numbers and see what I get, but whatever. 216. Why I know that? Yeah, powers of 6. Yeah, you have 6, then 36, then 216, then 1296. Yeah, there's that. Then now, 36 times 10, 360 divided that by 280. So therefore, this is going to be what? 2016? Just like, alright, 2016. So we're going to have 2016 divided by 56. Yeah? And then of course, just to make our life nice now, square root that, we get x. Square root that, we get 55 over 28. Right? We explained all of that before. If we were to expand this, we'd end up with 110 over 28. So if you have 110 over 28 in the middle, then what? You divide 28 by... Alright, that look retarded. Right? If you divide 110 by 2, you get this 55 right there. And you divide the 28 by 2, you get this 14 right there. Yeah? So just in case that needs to be explained again. Yeah? And then this minus 14 didn't go away. So now we have one more thing to do. We must now add the two of them then now. Really? Okay. So we have 2016, 3025 5041? Okay. That's a weird one. That's a weird one. Okay, so what number am I thinking about? 7 times 7 49. 8 times 8 64. Oh, okay. Alright. Hold on here. I go make an educated guess. Let me guess that 5041 is the square root of 71. I don't know this for sure. I promise you. I just guess me and guess. So we have a 1 here, 7 right there, 0 there, so 7 right there, and a 49. Yeah? One here, 4 here, 1 here. Yup. May just make an educated guess, say. If we square root 5041, would I get 71? Yeah. So oftentimes, this top number here is a perfect square, right? Oftentimes. More often than not, it is. More often than not. So now we can just continue with that right here. So, and we're almost done. Almost. Alright, so again, not being discreet this time. Literally, alright, so I don't know. I don't really want to see much of the light, but whatever. Really? Alright. Yeah, that never looked terrible. There we go. Now where this gets interesting now is that instead of adding this to both sides, we're going to subtract that from both sides. So like before, the minus sign would disappear. This time, when it go over there, it will become a negative. Right? So therefore, you'd have put a equal sign in front of this. And this will have a negative sign right here. Yeah? Because what would happen is that you would have 0 minus 5041 over 56. That's what would really happen. Right? So it would really look something like this. And then the good thing about it is that it come back out positive anyway, because when you multiply this by 1 over minus 14 and this by 1 over minus 14, cancel out. So therefore this (1 over minus 14), if you multiply this by that, and you multiply this by whether you want to call it minus 1 over 14 or 1 over minus 14, same thing. Same thing. Then everything work out. Wait, hold on. Let me try to get this. Yeah, there we go. Right. Yeah. Now, you see this completing the square thing take longer than me think it would have taken, you know. God know. Why not always I do me that? Them always a rush me off for the live. Okay, hold on there. What? Why are they asking me? Yo, them people are sure. Anyhow, yeah. Right, so almost done. So alright, 28 times 28. Let me see. Alright, so we have 900 minus 60, which is minus 120. If I add 4 to that, okay, 784. Alright, 784. So therefore, this supposed to be 784 when we're done. So negatives cancel, and 14 times 56 will be 784. This become positive now. This cancel that. Yeah. The only thing we have left to do now is square root both sides. And then we'll go on. Alright. So only thing we have left to do. Yeah. So square root left, square root right. And remember, we did figure this out before. That is 71. Well, this is going to be 28. So we're going to get a plus or minus 71 over 28. Right? So we have square root over that. And square root over that. Yeah, I wish it didn't do that to me. Seriously? At a time when I need you to hurry up. Really? I tell you, sometimes the device literally have a mind of its goddamn own. Seriously? Watch out. Just do what it want to do. Alright. Since a darkness, you say. My God. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. So I think we can fast forward a couple of things, right? So therefore, obviously remove the power. Bracket gone. This whole sign gone, bracket gone. Right? All of this becomes 71 over 28. Well, it's a plus or minus 71 over 28. Right? And then the last thing we do, we add 55 over 28 and 55 over 28 to both sides. Now obviously if it was a plus with a minus from them, yeah? So therefore, blue this so, yeah. So, try to get the last part now. Yeah. So what this going, oh, we never draw the line here, so. Look here now, man. I thought I drew the line. But I certainly draw the line this so. Alright, let me look on that again. Yeah. Alright, cool. So what is Saga giving now? 71 minus 55. So if it's like 51 from both of them, you're gonna end up with what? 20 minus 4, so you get 16. Alright, so one of them is 16 over 28. But more importantly, not just 21, not 16 over 28, but a negative 16 over 28. Right, yeah. So we just have to be careful when we're doing it. Right? Because what it really mean, what this really mean is that you have so therefore you're going to have 71 plus 55 over 28 or minus 71 plus 55. Right? So that is really what is happening. Yeah. So one side is 126 over 28 and the other side is so let me put this on 126 over 28 or minus 16 over 28. So all you have to do is reduce it to the lowest terms. So you'd have what, 3 by 3 by 7, which is 63, so it would have been that. If you put that over 18, no, not 18, 28, 2 by 2 by 7. Okay. Alright. So let me try to get that picture before I start reducing fraction then. So this side is minus 16 over 28. And this side is 126 over the 28. Jesus. What are we here, man? What are we here? Oh, sorry. Flow disturbed me with a little thing while ago. Anyway, yeah. Alright. What was I supposed to do again? I was supposed to reduce this, right? Yes, I was supposed to do that. So how I reduce them is I use prime numbers, right? So let me just try to get a picture of that before I do it too. So let me do that. What am I going to tell you? If only this thing would work. Alright, good. So up here, the 126 is 63 plus 63, which is 2 times 63. What I know about 63 is that that is 3 times 3 times 7, right? So your numerator up here is going to be that. The down here is what? 2 times 7, right? And then similarly, over here, this is what? 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. All of that over 2 by 7. Right? So now, my HCF is going to be 2 times 7. Right? So if I divide both of them by 14, I end up with 9 over 2. And for over here, what am I going to do? Divide this by 4. So one side is a positive 9 over 2. The other side is a minus 4 over 7. Yeah. So that shall be it. So I'm going to let my teacher friend who teach physics address those questions, you know. We'll do that. So am I right? What this is supposed to be 9 over 2 over here, so this is 9 over 2, this is minus 4 over 7. Yeah. That should be it. That should be it. I did not anticipate that it would take that long, yeah? So I'll read that now, Yeah. So it don't matter whether it is the positive x squared or positive ax squared or the negative ax squared, we can do them. Right? So if it's minus here, they both become positive, all of that madness. Yeah? So yeah, hopefully that helpful, you know. Hopefully. So might chop up this and, you know, yeah, make this available again and things like that. So now I'm done before them run me off. Yeah. Again, thanks for helping me to stay consistent, and as I always say, honor your commitments.